up, get me down now. Back up, yeah. Back up, back up, back up. I ain't perfect.
What's going on?
Seek discernment, preaching.
HD Rhodes coming live and direct from downtown Vancouver, British Columbia. Man, got a beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful map of the world right there on my left. And you know what, man, just sitting up here, been blessed to be meeting with community leaders up here in Vancouver, British Columbia. And you know what, we're just sitting up here doing big things, big things, big things. Just sitting up here, getting everything put together to be able to literally launch for all of those in British Columbia, in Vancouver, Canada. We're getting ready to literally have one of the biggest launches for a business, entrepreneur, educational, and community platform in which they've ever seen up here. And I'm just super excited because you have an opportunity to be able to tap into this same opportunity where you are. Wherever you are in 160 countries around the world, you have an opportunity to visualize your breakthrough with VYB. And you know what? This is the #1 platform on the planet. And I say, why is it the #1 platform on the planet? Because you know what? A lot of people have went ahead like Christopher Columbus and they sailed the ocean blue. Hello, there's been people from all countries around the world to be able to take that long journey. Some people went from taking, you know what, that long journey by boat to going ahead and taking that long journey by plane. And everyone came to North America for one thing and one thing only. And it wasn't to be a slave of a big corporation. It wasn't just to get an education and sit at home and be marginalized. No. They went ahead and they sailed the ocean blue. They went ahead and flew thousands of miles away because they had that, guess what? They had that North American dream. And what was that dream? It was entrepreneurship. And you know what? For the first time ever, you guys have an opportunity to be able to tap into entrepreneurship and to be able to stake your claim in a digital platform. You're able to take digital real estate and to be able to learn how to monetize your dreams, your goals, your vision. Come on, man. I don't know about you, but today should literally be on a calendar somewhere, man, because today is a day in which, guess what? You're getting ready to have your breakthrough. So without any further ado, my name is HD Rhodes. I'm right here in Vancouver, British Columbia, born and raised. Actually, I should say born, but not raised. I was born in Amarillo, Texas, raised in Washington, Texas, Alabama. And you know what? As God blessed me to be able to travel around the United States, to be able to spend time being able to meet a lot of people around there, and then being able to move up to Canada, well over 23 years ago, blessed me to be able to go ahead and to become a permanent resident here. Today, I've been blessed to be able to learn so much about the Vancouver, British Columbia history. In fact, did you guys realize the first governor of Vancouver, British Columbia was actually an African American? Some of you guys might be like, HD, what are you saying? You're talking about Canada with a Canadian hat on and a Canadian flag behind you? So let me say it all there for all those people who missed it. The first governor of this province of British Columbia, where Vancouver is, was African American. And you know what? It blew my mind to find that out because as you say, well, HD, why is that important? What's important is the fact that you realize that there's a lot about history in the United States and Canada that a lot of people don't understand. Kind of like the fact that, guess what? A lot of people who actually moved to Vancouver, British Columbia, in this territory, in this part of the world, actually a lot of those who came up here and actually developed this land, some of the first people who actually called for this to become an actual city were actually from the United States of America. They came over because if you look at what happened with the slave trade, a lot of people who escaped from the United States of America, escaped off the plantation, a lot of people who escaped from slavery, they came to this land, which is interestingly enough where God blesses me right now to be as I am launching this vision called Visualize Your Breakthrough, a vision for entrepreneurship, a vision, as I like to say in my brand new podcast that we started last week, give me freedom. And today's your day, man. Because today, whatever God has put in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, that gift you were born with for freedom, that cry that you got in your soul for freedom is tied right now, man. It's tied to entrepreneurship. Why? Because the 40-40 plan was not created for freedom, man. It was nothing more than the new age system of the plantation. And a lot of people are trading their time for dollars. Hello, man. They're trading 40 years of their life after working 40 to 70 years a week for 40 years of their life just to be able to retire on 40%. Come on, man. Do you realize we went from the agricultural age to the industrial revolution where 90% of the population gave up their freedom, the right to own land, their right to be able to work for themselves, to own themselves, to be able to go ahead and to go and put themselves right back into bondage in a system in which we call, guess what? Corporate Canada, corporate America? You mean, HD, what do you mean? Because what happened is the money used to be in the land, the gold, the oil, the wheat. Hello. Come on. The tobacco, the cotton. Hello. It used to be in the land. But when we went from the agricultural age, hello, to going to the corporate age, guess what happened? We look at the billionaires who were created, the Rockefellers, hello, the Carnegies, the Mellons, hello, the DuPonts. They made all that wealth when they took a lot of people who owned the land and told them they're going to make more money for them in the cities. And as all these people gave up their land, they gave up their rights. You know, man, there's people who died for freedom to have 40 acres and a mule. They gave it up for this false belief that they were going to be able to be better off moving to the cities, working for these factories, working for these major industries, working for these Ford companies, hello, working for these auto companies, these manufacturing companies, the advent of the textile industry, hello, the railroad industry that was moving product, hello, from manufacturer to the market, to the consumer, through the railroad distribution system. And as we went from there to the car distribution, and then we went to, guess, as we have it today, the logistics system is now going through what? We went from the railroads to the cars to the semi-trucks, going down Highway 66 from the East Coast to the West Coast, and the West Coast to the East Coast. But as we moved through that age, hello, we started going into what? Streamlined distribution. And as these big corporations, the true pyramids out there, where they make the most money at the top and the least amount of money at the bottom, and the people on the bottom can never make as much money as the people at top, unless, guess what, someone dies, someone's laid off, someone quits their jobs. The only way you're going to be able to move up. Hello. But guess what happened? They went ahead and started laying off, guess what, middle management. And those middle managers got smart, because instead of being part of a 40-40 system, they seen the writing on the wall being in corporate America. And guess what they started doing? They decided to go and start working with the direct sales company, these network marketing companies. Why? Because all of a sudden companies like ACM started working with Ma Bell and AT&T. All of a sudden you had Prepaid Legal started working with some of the top legal corporations in the world. All of a sudden you had companies like Amway, Melaleuca, Mary Kay, hello. All these companies started going ahead and becoming the distribution chain for major corporations. Hello? And so these major corporations, instead of paying these billions of dollars to do advertising for the Grey Cup, the Super Bowl, the NHL playoffs, Wimbledon, and the PGA Tour, they decided to start taking a large portion of their budget and going ahead and paying these direct sales network marketing companies to go ahead and move product to the market. Because these, guess what? These direct sales and network marketing companies were going ahead and literally creating, guess what? A large flow of sales forces that were being managed by people who used to manage sales forces in corporate America. If they became literally the most effective way to move product to market, because now you had a sales force that wasn't getting paid by the dime, hourly wage. No, they're getting paid to produce. The more they produced, the more money they made. And so, you know what? It was a symbiotic relationship. They had synergy. You had the major corporations that were going to go ahead and they were able to get leaner and meaner. So they were able to be able to meet their profit goals, their annual and quarterly profit goals, because they were cutting away the fat. You know, all the big money that went to sales and marketing, they're cutting it away. And they were going ahead and they had this relationship, kind of like a 1099 relationship with these network marketing corporations, that those network marketing corporations became the new billionaires. Just kind of like, you know, those who were in the Rockefellers age, those who were in the Vanderbilt age. When the money went from the land to the corporations, manufacturers, billionaires were created. Well, the same thing happened as they went from the Industrial Revolution to streamlined distribution. Billionaires were created when they went ahead and streamlined the distribution. It's the same thing that Jeff Bezos seen the trends taking place, when he seen the fiber optic cable going around the world, Bill Gates being the richest man on the planet in the software industry, Intel Pentium chips, come on, Dell computers, Apple computers, hello, Gateway computers. You know what? Jeff Bezos seen that business, commerce was about to be online. And so he stuck his claim in business and decided to follow the economic trends and the technology trends. And he started Amazon.com selling books out of his garage. And how did that work for him? 2 decades later, he was able to go ahead and trump, hello, Chapters Indigo, hello, Barnes and Noble, even though these brick and mortar companies were at the top of their industry in North America. Because of technology and economic shift in the trends, Jeff Bezos was able to become the #1 book distributor. 2 decades later, hello, he's selling hats, clothing, health and nutrition products on Amazon.com. You understand what I'm saying? I literally watched the college basketball March Madness playoffs on Amazon Prime, which means Jeff Bezos got even into the cable business. Man, you can streamline your movies even on Amazon.com, which means he's even competing with a Netflix. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Man, you know what happens? If preparedness, if you're prepared when opportunity comes, you have an opportunity to make billions. And guess what? If you are prepared to live your dreams, if you're prepared to dust off, guess what? Those visions, those gifts in which our Heavenly Father created you with. Now is the best time ever, because we're no longer in the .com era. In fact, we're already well into the social media era. And those people who took advantage of, guess what? Those trends. Hello, Kai Cenat. Hello, all those people have a social media platform where they have accessibility, and they went ahead and learned to market their gifts to the world. They were content creators, and we know them all now as what? Influencers, as they went from millionaires to billionaires. Same way Jeff Bezos did. Hello. Same way the Rockefellers did. Hello. Same way, guess what? Bill Gates did. Hello. And you have an opportunity to have, just like that flags on that wall right there, to have a picture of you. Hello. Grandma so-and-so, Grandpa so-and-so. In 2025, he staked his claim in entrepreneurship. He sees the trends coming and the opportunity to become the next billionaire. As the financial trends, hello, we're going ahead and taking place with the technology plans. And guess what? Those two trends came together and collided with the AI revolution that's going on right now. And VYB is a platform for you to be able to take your ideas, your gifts, your talent, and to take it to the market. Because VYB is going to do this one thing that none of these other platforms are doing. You can go to Schoolhouse, that's fine. Hello, you can go on Amazon, you can go to YouTube, you can go to TikTok. Hey, I'm on the 4 major ones: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. But guess what? Just because you're online doesn't mean you're going to be able to do the same thing Jeff Bezos did. Because to be successful, you don't need to have accessibility online. You need to have visibility. That means, let me give you an example, man. Visibility is like if you had an Aunt Sally, and so you say your Aunt Sally had the best lemonade in all of Alabama. But she only took her lemonade and put it out in her front porch, and she would only get foot traffic of a 2x2 block radius. She has accessibility. She has access to the public. But guess what? What if she now took that same lemonade and she went ahead and took it to the Alabama County Fair? She would get more foot traffic in one day than she would get the whole year in the front porch. And you know what the difference is? That foot traffic? That's what we call visibility. For you to be successful as an entrepreneur, as an educator, as a content creator, you need accessibility and visibility. And there's only one platform that's going to drive traffic to your business, to your product, to your value-added course. For all of y'all out there who are educators, there's only one platform I know that's going to allow you to be able to get access for less than $300 a month. Whew. And that's a company named VYB. VYB was put together by an English teacher out of Indiana by the name of Megan Lynch. Megan Lynch was not only an English teacher, she's a legend maker, multi-millionaire. She's got a passion for the community. single mom of 2 children, you know what? She decided that she got tired of seeing the problem in the inner city and these kids coming into the suburbs at her high school, one of the top high schools in the nation. And some days that they were ready, some days they weren't. And she talked to them, found out that a lot of the kids of the inner city, they weren't mentally ready for school. They're going through trauma. Why? Because their neighborhood was being shot up by the dope dealers. Their neighborhood was being shot up by, guess what? The drug cartels. Their neighbors were being shot up, and they had friends and family members being shot by the police. Man, they were living in a battleground and asked to go to school and be there on time by 7:30, by 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. But Megan Lynch said she had an idea. She was going to teach these youth entrepreneurship. She's going to give them a product that was honest and legal, and she was going to teach them how to be able. She's going to teach them how to be able to run their own business and to be able to take their gifts, their dreams, and their visions and to learn how to monetize it and take it to the marketplace. Her and her twin sister, Reagan Lynch, I call them the Wonder Twins. And the best thing about those two, they're roommates, and they never deactivate. The two of them together went ahead and put together a $100,000 grant. They went ahead and got it typed up. They got it edited. They crossed their T's and they dotted their I's. And you know what happened? It got approved. But when the school system was able to go ahead and get their hand on the money before they gave it to Megan and Reagan Lynch, do you know what really happened? Man, the school system went ahead and took that money, and they don't know where it went. Football equipment? I don't know. Basketball equipment? I don't know. The band? I don't know. But you know what happened? Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. They never got the money. And when Megan Lynch went to go ahead and tell everybody what happened, you know, they said, we don't want to talk about what happened. Why? Because you know what? This is our school system. The money came to our school. And if you don't like it, you got to get a new job. She did. She went in network marketing and direct sales. When she went in network marketing and direct sales, you know what happened? Let me tell you what happened. She failed. First time she failed. Why? Because you know what? The reason she failed was because most people fail when they get in business. In fact, do you realize 90% of all entrepreneurs fail in the first 2 to 5 years? Did you know over 98% of most restaurants close from start to finish in the first 5 years? That being the case, wouldn't it be cool if there was a platform that was going to take successful entrepreneurs and be able to teach you how to be able to be successful? Imagine if there's a platform that had a financial education. Imagine if there's a platform out there that was going to be able to teach you everything you want to know about Forex, crypto, DeFi, NFTs, even real estate investing. Come on, man. And if they have multi-millionaires and billionaires to be able to teach you and combine it with AI, so no matter what your education level is, you will be able to learn what you need to learn. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, that's what we call VYB Vault. And you know, anything that's valuable, you better lock up in a vault. And we gave you the best financial education. We brought not just the best teachers, but we brought the best entrepreneurs who are leveraging AI to become the best teachers that you'll see at any university, including better than Stanford, Harvard, and Yale. You go HD, you're going out. I don't know. But if last time I had a chance to learn Forex or DeFi or crypto from a man who's made billions of dollars, by the name of Barnaby. He's the man who's been connected to e-commerce in Australia and New Zealand from the beginning. He knew about Bitcoin when it was only 20 cents. Oh, yeah, I would definitely take that class. Now, guess what? If you have children who are in school right now, and you know, a lot of people, you know, they're looking at what education you're going to get. But when they look at the cost of living, they go, it don't matter what they're going to do in school. They go to school, get good grades, they get a good job. You know what? Most people who are graduating right now, they're not going to be able to make a living, at least up here in Canada, okay, with the cost of living, to be able to be on their own. I remember I was 20 years old. I was already on my own. But these days, man, my son had a good friend who was talking to me 2 weeks ago who's been a teacher, got a good degree, can't even afford to move out of their house. Why? Because my son's friend has to decide if they want to get a car or be able to pay for a gym membership. Why? Because the cost of living costs so much. And guess what? Their income ain't able to keep up with the 4 income drains: taxation, interest, inflation. Hello. You understand what I'm saying? Income tax, man, you got to pay income tax 3 times if you're a W-2 or T4 employee. You understand what I'm saying? They take taxes out your check before you get paid. Every time you spend a check, you got to pay taxes. And every April, you got to pay taxes based off of what the gross amount of money that you earn, even though you didn't receive all that, you only receive the net. less taxes. You understand what I'm saying? But as an entrepreneur, you are going to keep the whole check. And then whatever you spend over those 12 months, as long as you went ahead and kept the receipts, kept good notes in your business journal or agenda or calendar, you'll go ahead and be able to meet with, guess what? A business tax accountant. Hello. And that business tax accountant, or as we like to call it, a tax specialist, will be able to go ahead and match up your receipts to your trip to Ibiza, your trip to Hawaii, your trip to St. Bart's, your trip to Cancun, your trip to Disneyland. As long as you're doing business a certain percentage of that time that you're on vacation, and now you're able to be able to write that stuff off for business, including your meals, hello, your travel, hello, that car that you're going to need to go to and fro. Come on, man. Every mile you drive in the United States of America, you're throwing away 50 cents if you don't own your own business. In Canada, you're throwing away 65 cents for every dollar. For every kilometer you drive for the first 10,000 kilometers. And guess what? You're still throwing between 50 to 55 cents away for every kilometer you drive after the 10,000 kilometers if you don't have a business, if you're not an entrepreneur in Canada. So my question is, I don't know why you're working 1, 2, or 3 jobs. I mean, most people in North America, they got, if they're married, them and their spouse, and they're making 6 figures, they're not going to be able to afford a house unless they have 1, 2 jobs coming out of college these days. Why? Because the cost of living is too high. That's why you see a lot of people who, I've been in Ubers and Lyfts, even up here in British Columbia. I talked to this man and he's a marketing director. I talked to this person and he's a sales manager. I talked to this person and they work an account. I talked to this person. And I'm like, why so many people with corporate jobs are driving Uber? And then God reminded me, oh, that's right, the 4 income streams, cost of living. Because guess what? They also got to pay what? Interest on the house note, interest on the car note. Oh man, if you just had kids who graduated from college, you got to pay interest. What's interest? Interest is, guess what? That's that sum of money, lump sum of money, on top of the money that you took out from the bank on a loan. And on school loans, most people are going to be paying their school loans off for the rest of their life. But if you're an entrepreneur, guess what? Now all those things will become a tax write-off, including, guess what, your insurance. You got to have insurance for your house, your car, man. You better have insurance for medical, including for the veterinarian bill. Hello. God forbid you better have insurance when you're traveling. You don't want to get sick 3,000 miles away on vacation. But guess what happens? At the end of the day, you got to understand this, man. All those 3 things are tax write-offs, but the worst of all those 4 income streams that nobody teaches you in school is inflation, because inflation doubles the price of the cost of living every 10 years. So today, if you're graduating from college, you got a good job, and you can barely find a way to be able to find a place between you and your spouse who got a good job, 2 house incomes of over 100,000 each. So guess what? That's 200,000. If your combined income's 200,000 right now today, and you can't afford a house, how do you think you're going to be able to afford a house in 10 years when the cost of living is going to be, you're going to have to make 400,000 to be at the same level. And in 20 years, you're going to have to be at over 800,000 to be at the same cost of living. Hello. And in 10 years after that, you're going to have to be at 1.6 in just 30 years from now. And when you go to retire in 40 years from now, you're going to have to be making over what? $3.2 million. How do you think life's going to get better? Because the more money you make, the more money they're going to take. It's called taxation, baby. Taxation is the number 1 reason why all the Columbus sailed the ocean blue and everybody else who moved and hit Plymouth Rock. You know that famous thing? We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Hey, you know why they all left? Taxation with the British government, baby. Man, go and study history. The Boston Tea Party, man. The United States of America was formed for people who didn't want to have to pay them taxes. Come on. So let me go on to tell you what the solution is real quick before my battery dies. Okay, the solution is VYB. Visualize your breakthrough. Why? Because outside of the education, the best education platform that you can get, because we're going to have billionaires and hundred millionaires, people who've made hundreds of millionaires, like Courtney Logan, who put together this technology called Omni, because he was one of 1,400 people in all of North America with this particular, guess what, financial investment degree. He studied at Oxford. He's made hundreds of $millions. He's bringing his knowledge. He's bringing this technology AI platform to this. Barnaby's name of his platform is called C-Fire, which stands for Crypto is Fire. Multi-billionaire. Hello. Outside of that, My mom used to say, birds of a feather flock together. Don't you know the 5 people you spend the most time with, you add up their income divided by 5, that's where your income is going to be. So wouldn't it be smart if you're going to be trained by millionaires, mentored by millionaires, for them to have a community, for you to network with other like-minded individuals? Well, we call that Vibe Tribe, where no matter what industry you're in, you're able to go ahead and create your own tribe within our ecosystem with like-minded individuals. And if you're smart, you're going to go ahead and level up. Make sure the people that you're around are all have an extra comma behind their name that you don't. If you make $100,000 a year, you might want to make sure when you open up your tribe, your community, that you got at least 4 millionaires in there. Why? I just told you, man, birds of a feather flock together. You add up the 5 people's income you spend the most time with, divided by 5, that's going to be yours. If you want to level up your income, you better level up your association. Vibe made it easy with Vibe Tribe. Now, guess what? All you out there going, well, HD, tell us more about this, how way we can make money with this platform. I'm glad you asked. We have what we call Vibe Global. And Vibe Global is literally the platform, and that part of the platform is for entrepreneurs, content creators, and educators to be able to take their skill set, their gift, and their way of being able to communicate it effectively with the world and to learn how to monetize it. You're able to go ahead and take your value-added course that you've been working so hard, diligently putting together to be able to share with your community in the world. And with our AI technology, you're able to upload that on our platform, and you're able to monetize it like James Udell down in Dallas, Texas. Hello. James Udell is the #1 bass guitar player in the state of Texas. Man, he even performs at jazz concerts with professional jazz musicians. But James ain't caught up on success. He's caught up in significance. So he even tutors the youth and teaches them how to be able to play music. And he doesn't even do that only. He even performs with his church. Come on, man. You got to go in life, man. You got to understand one thing in life, man. There's one thing to strive for success and have all the cars and the houses and the money and the girlfriends and the vacations. And, man, but when you get my age at 50, man, you start looking back at your life going, man, what did I really accomplish, man? And what am I leaving behind? And in the good book that I read, it says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And when you connect with a platform like James Udell did out of Dallas, Texas, he's able to now create a value-added course where he's going to be able to teach other musicians. He's going to be able to teach even other students from 160 countries around the world how, guess what? If he charged them only $30, hello, for the month. And guess what? He only attracted through Vibe 50 students a day, he's going to make $1,500 a day, and $1,500 a day times 7 days a week. And since this platform's online, when he's sleeping in Dallas, Texas, there's somebody else on the other side of the world that's just waking up to go to work, and their kids need to study music. And guess what? If they sign up, and they had 50 people sign up every day, and guess what? At the end of the week, that would have put $10,000 in his pocket. But when you times that by 52 weeks in a year, then my brother James Udell is going to make over $500,000 being able to go ahead and teach people that bass guitar. And that's the beauty of this system. Because then from there, I went ahead and called my buddy Big Rob in Washington, Pullman, Washington. Over at Washington State, he was teaching karate because he went ahead and he studied karate. He learned this martial arts and he studied it for 18 years in Taiwan. Him and his younger brother Aaron and his older brother Ed, they've been studying martial arts since they were 6, 7, and 8 years old. But he took it a step further and traveled across that globe that I got right over there. And he went to Taiwan for 18 years, and now you have an opportunity to take his course. And guess what? What if he's charging only $50 a semester or $50 for a month for his course? Well, guess what? If 1,000 people go ahead and sign up this month, that's $50,000 he's making whether he's awake or he's asleep. Because all he's doing is we're going to record his classes in the daytime, and we're going to upload it using our AI platform. And guess what? You're going to have access to it 24 hours a day. Why? Because that's going to allow these men, these entrepreneurs, these educators, these content creators to have not just accessibility, guess what, but visibility. You go, HD, well, how are they getting visibility? Because guess what? Megan Lynch and Reagan Lynch, they're some of the smartest networkers they are. They network with this gentleman by the name of Andre Russell. Man, he's almost a billionaire himself. He used his know-how, his technology. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars of technology, and he's the one who physically built this physical platform in which is going to be online. And when the three of them got together, guess what they decided? They decided to have this online platform, but they decided they wanted the product to be you. And then the smartest thing is they said, guess what? When you look at history, how did all these other corporations make billions of dollars? And they went from The agricultural age, the industrial revolution. Okay, but then all those people in corporate Canada and corporate United States, what they started doing? They started streamlining distribution. Well, what did they do with the sales force? They contracted it out, and they go, the smartest way to move product to market is to contract it out to a direct sales company. So why don't we just create a direct sales company, attach it to our online platform, and we'll allow those network marketers and those people who know how to build teams, we're going to help them monetize their dreams of creating great sales organizations, and we're going to pay them to drive traffic to this platform so that entrepreneur, that content creator, and that educator is going to be able to have hundreds of thousands of millions of people who are going to want to be able to take their course, and they did. And because of that, there's 5 income streams connected to this. The first income stream I already told you about is for those people who want to be content creators. Hello. Those people, if you have your merch, you can go on Vibe Style and sell your hats, your cups, your sweatsuits. You can go ahead and sell your mugs. You can sell your placeholders. Come on. You can go ahead and sell your laptop and phone covers because they went ahead and invested in 40,000 square foot of property to create something called Vibe Styles to be able to help you to be able to create your merch and to be able to sell that and distribute your merch. Well, guess what? They even solved your problem when it came to branding because they created Vibe Branding. And guess what? They're going to be able to help create your website and teach you how to brand it. Come on, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? They took it even further. They created something called Vibe Spotlight, and they're going to be able to have kind of like an online digital magazine where you're going to be able to give your 30-second elevator speech telling them why they should be doing business, how they should be doing business with my name. Hey, HD, what John say? My name is not HD for a second. Let me give you a Vibe Spotlight. My name is Felicia Lacerte, and I'm from the indigenous community in Vancouver, British Columbia. I've been studying business for well over 20 years. I've went ahead and started my own companies. I have over 100 business plans, but the thing that's dear to my heart is being able to empower the indigenous community. And I've chosen the Vibe platform to be able to not only to launch my new businesses, but also to be able to empower the indigenous Canadian community. And when she does that on Vibe Spotlight, now she's going to be able to literally have over 160 countries know what she's doing. She has a whole sales force of right now over 70,000 independent business owners driving business to Felicia Lacerte's businesses, her cups, her gear, her merch, her hats, her sweats, her shoes, her t-shirts. And guess what? You have that same opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? You could be like, my name is Matthew Plant, and guess what? You know what? I went from being a content creator to hooking up with Jerome Majette and HD Rhodes, who's part of this Vibe platform. And Jerome Majette, who's actually going to be teaching a course for $20 called Attraction Marketing. He's going to teach you from being someone who's always trying to hunt to get the sales done to being the hunted. Why? Because he wrote a book 18 years ago called Why Did God Make Man? And when he got stuck by placing his book on Amazon.com, after all his friends and family, they went ahead and purchased it. He didn't know how he was going to go ahead and drive more eyeballs, more subscribers to buy his book. So he started looking into marketing. He looked at paying a company in which they were going to charge him $1,700 to $3,000 a month. But he asked them what their guarantee was. They said, we can't give you no guarantee. You just got to understand what professional we did. Well, when you're selling a book at, $19.99, how many books you got to sell to be able to afford paying $3,000 a month for marketing it? And you don't have no guarantee. So he got smart. He started looking up and Googling. He found this course called Attraction Marketing. Now, when he's found this course called Attraction Marketing, which was going to allow you to become the hunted, not the hunter anymore, so that your books, your business ideas, guess what? Now everyone's going to seek after you. He looked at the cost as $10,000. Now, Myron Golden had that money. And because he had that money, he went through those courses. He's right now, Myron Golden, M-Y-R-O-N, Golden. He's making between $6 to $10 million a year. But guess what? Jerome Majette, he ain't a quitter, just like the legend Megan Lynch ain't a quitter. And guess what they did? They went off and Jerome Majette, he dusted off, guess what? His resume, and he said, I'm going to go ahead and apply sweat equity where I didn't have $10,000 to be able to learn this system. He went ahead and took a job with this company that was teaching it, and guess what? 9 months later, he went ahead and applied it so he could go ahead and sell more books. He went ahead and opened up his YouTube account. He started at zero like everybody else who gets on social media. They start with 0 subscribers, but he went from 0 to 19,000 in 6 to 8 months. And if you want to learn how, you need to go to Vibe Global and take this course from Jerome Majette, because it's only going to cost you $20 a month. I don't know if you heard me. I don't care what business you have, what business idea you have. You need to pay $20 a month in his course to be able to learn, to be able to go viral, to be able to learn how you can go ahead and market your business in 160 countries and blow up. Because he's going to teach you the secret of how attraction marketing works. And on top of that, this platform has over 73,000 entrepreneurs who are going to be telling everybody about your book, telling everybody about your merch, telling everybody about your business. Why? Because they're getting paid to do it. Come on, man. Now, if that ain't everything, guess what? Maybe you have some big corporate ideas and you have some big ideas. And guess what? That's why they created VYB Ventures. Imagine it's kind of going to be like a Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, where you're going to be able to pitch your business ideas after they've already, the same company, VYB, has already helped you with your marketing, because Jerome Majette and VYB Global. They are going to help you brand yourself. Hello. They're going to help you be able to build your online platform with their technology. They're going to hook you up and be trained by multimillionaires and billionaires in this VYB tribe. Hello. And you need that educational, financial literacy. They're going to hook you up with the top minds in real estate, investing, financial markets. They're going to teach you what to do with your money. Hello. They're going to have the best library of entrepreneurship, where you can read books like Robert Kiyosaki's, guess what, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where you're going to learn the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is what puts money in your pocket. Liabilities is what happens when you just rip up money, set it on fire, flush it down the toilet. Guess what? It ain't coming back. And if you want to be wealthy, the difference between those who are employed, rich, or wealthy is those people who are wealthy, they just have more assets than those people who are rich and those people who are poor. They have their money working for them instead of them having to work for their money. There's only 24 hours in a day, but if you're able to create leverage, which is you going from being employed to being self-employed. That was me working from the bank. I went from working at Conseco Financial, working for the bank, to then being able to go to A to Z, and then Money to Lend with Jerome Majette. Me and Jerome did that. Now we were self-employed. We were able to go ahead and make money nonstop bop for us. We got paid. We got to keep the whole check. They didn't take taxes out of it. And at the end of the year, based off of our receipts and our spending and our agenda, we were able to write it off, and we only had to pay taxes on what was left, not what we received. Hello. But guess what? I didn't stop there. I was like, look, man, you asked my wife. I said, look, man, we were looking in Seattle when I moved to Seattle 19 years ago. When I was over in Seattle, I was looking at that Columbia Tower. I said, look, man, they wanted me to go ahead and they wanted me to be the branch manager at Wells Fargo when I was down in Alabama. They wanted to move me to Atlanta because I was the #1 sales rep in the whole Southeast region. I said, why not go ahead and expand this mortgage franchise we call America One? Go ahead and get me an office at the Columbia Tower. And I was about to start hiring mortgage brokers, processors, the whole nine. And then the whole U.S. economy went like this. So glad I didn't sign that contract before the bottom fell out of that thing. Everybody knows about the dot-com bust. But think about that whole real estate bust. Ooh, man, it sent the whole globe almost into a depression. Man, but speaking of which, what's my point, man? VYB is an opportunity for you to be able to be with people who've been there, done that, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars in every industry. Man, guess what, man? If you're going to be able to be successful, man, you need to follow a map. And you need to follow people who actually know what they're doing. And success leaves clues. And guess what? Robert Kiyosaki said in Cashflow Quadrant, man, the best way for you to be able to go from being where you are right now is to go ahead and keep your job, create a side business. A lot of times these days they call it a side hustle. People are sitting up here, got all sorts of side hustles, but with VYB, we're able to take your dreams, your goals, and your vision and create it to be your side hustle. And you get to go from being an entrepreneur who's self-employed to, as you expand your business, we help give you visibility to become a corporation, which now you can be able to go ahead and hire people or collaborate with other people, where now guess what? In your 24 hours a day, you're able to start earning money out there 24 hours a day. And you can leverage technology like VYB Global, where you have this website making you money 24 hours a day, and you got a digital product that's now working for you, which is giving you leverage. Hello. And you can go from making, I don't know, if James Udell has 1,000 people and he's teaching music for $30, and he has 1,000 people sign up this month, and he makes $30,000 in his sleep. Next month, because he's giving such value, everyone invites one. Next month, he's making $60,000. His third month, he's making $120,000. Last time I checked, $120,000 a month times 12, he's already a multimillionaire. And if you understand what I'm saying, man, you've never had an opportunity to go from zero to make millions in less than 6 to 12 months of your life ever before. Being able to be trained, being able to be educated by multimillionaires, being able to connect the best technology in the world with an economic time like never before. It's creating a tsunami of success. And it's all thanks to Miss Megan Lynch, Reagan Lynch, and Andre Russell, inspired by my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Now, if that makes sense to you, then guess what? You can go ahead, DM me. I'm done talking to y'all. Right now, I want to talk to the network marketer. You go, HD, why you want to talk to those people who love pyramids and network marketing? Well, what they tell you? Because they're the ones who are going to drive visibility to your business, your ideas, and your gifts. And it's because of that, VYB got 4 more income streams I got to explain to them. Now, if you want to hear about the income streams, that's great. If not, that's great. Because guess what? When you go ahead and you get started with your value-added course so that you could go ahead and start your business, you can launch your business and go from step 1 to done. And you know HD Rhodes spells done, R-I-C-H. Maybe I need to change that to say done is significance. I just thought about that now. But let me get back to those network marketers. Because you know what? Outside those network marketers, I want to talk to those urban hustlers. I want to talk to those urban pharmacists. I want to talk to those urban entrepreneurs. You know why? Because y'all got to hustle, man. And the men and women who I just got done having a meeting with, you know, we were sitting up here talking, and some things really hit me. And you know what? There's nothing new under the sun. And you go back to the early 1800s, you go to the men and women who went ahead and they founded Vancouver, British Columbia. You go back to those individuals. I just got done looking through this book in which we were looking at history. They are all entrepreneurs, man. And in this big city we call Vancouver today, that God blessed me to be in the Lower Mainland, it was started by a lot of these entrepreneurs who moved from the United States. They escaped the plantation. They went ahead through the Underground Railroad. They were some that got chased off and had their homes and everything they had burnt to the ground. They lost their 40 acres of mule, and they set up shop across the 49th parallel here in Canada, in Vancouver, British Columbia. Some of the first barbershops, the first restaurants, some of the first businesses, and the first governor of Vancouver, British Columbia. I learned today, I got pictures where African Americans who came across that 49th parallel. And so what I want to talk to is all them those urban entrepreneurs. Is because I don't know if you're hustling on the street or not, but guess what? There is a spirit inside you that God gave you a gift for business. And all you need is a legal product, a moral product, and guess what? An opportunity to go visible. What's visible mean, man? You don't got to run from the police no more. You don't got to worry about having to do everything through word of mouth, which means you're already an expert. Man, if you're sitting up here moving bricks and you don't got a business card or commercial, do you understand what could happen if you could now advertise? Hello, and you had a legal product? Do you understand what I'm telling you, man? And what's the better product than, guess what? All the people that you know in your community who got gifts. There's people in your community who's wrote books. There's people in your community, they can rap, they can sing, they can dance, man. Guess what? There's people, you got all sorts of teachers in your community. You got all sorts of people with vision to be able to create merch in your, come on, man. We see this whole AAU circuit. Who do you think created those circuits, man? And who did they create it for? You got that in your community. And you as an entrepreneur, as you have a mouthpiece of your community, you have an opportunity to not only empower yourself and to become the next billionaire with a B like Bill Gates, but you have an opportunity to change your entire community and to unite your community for good. Hello. To be able to create your own hospitals, to be able to create your own schools, to be able to build your own churches and your own community centers, your own malls and your own grocery stores, man. This is why I'm talking to y'all now, because we have 4 income streams I got to tell you about. The second one right now I'm talking about is kind of like a gym membership. You go to the gym like I do, it costs $50 a month. I invite my friend, they can go for a week for free to check it out. Guess what? I got a free link for everyone who wants to check out this platform. DM me, I'll send it to you. But after you get a chance to walk around and see what my gym membership in this online entrepreneurship gym, where you get to get rich while you get strength, hello. Afterwards, you decide to sign up for the same price that I sign up for, so you can learn to monetize your book, your business, your merch. You can learn how to monetize your podcast, your live streams. Hello. They're going to pay me. Guess what? They're going to pay me $10 for every $50 that you pay for your platform, just like the gym. That's the second income. But the third is just like network marketing. They always pay people for the matrix. That means simply you get paid for the people you bring in directly. They call that width. And your longevity and stability is the amount of people that they bring in. They call that depth. Well, we got a 3 by 10 matrix. You only have to go 3 wide to max out our comp plan in 10 deep to max out our comp plan. And guess what? So for less than $300, you have 3 friends who are entrepreneurs. And guess what? You have 3 educators that are educators. And you have, guess what? You have a friend who's a content creator who knows 3 people. You help those 3 get 3. You go 10 people down in depth, and the company's going to pay you $5 a month for their subscription. Well, $5 a month is going to be going 10 levels down is over 88,000 people. And guess what? That means there's an extra $442,000 a month for you just empowering the people who are entrepreneurs, teachers, and content creators in your community. They're going to pay you for inviting them to this content creator, educator, and entrepreneur platform. Now, the 4th income stream is every month that they're going ahead and re-upping as well. You're going to get a 100% override for, guess what they're making off of those memberships. And then the people who they brought in, the 5th income stream, you're going to get a 50% override. So if you understand what I just told you, you got an opportunity to make $1 million a month on the direct sales network marketing side, or for building a network of entrepreneurs. If you're in the inner city, you already know how to do this, Mr. OG. You already know how to go ahead and be the big man on the block. Instead of sitting up here having everybody move that work that's killing our community, why don't you come up here and move this work, which is going to bless your community by leveraging the goals, the dreams, and visions and gifts that God put in your community's heart, so that you guys can build something that's going to last, build something that's healthy, and build your community back like they did in Black Wall Street. I'm going to let that sit in. Y'all don't know what I said? Google Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, we had Roosevelt. Man, we had the same thing in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. Come on. What I'm talking about is this is an empowerment movement. This is a movement for you to go from success to significance. I just broke down 5 income streams that if you really get what I told you and you break it down, you go ahead and you DM me and I send you the comp plan. Do what I did. I went ahead and took a picture of comp plan. I put it on Chat GPT, and by the time I was done, man, I couldn't sleep at night. I ain't been able to sleep since. You go, HD, I heard you're getting ready to have a radio station. Yep. HD, I heard you got 2 podcasts. Yep. I heard HD that you're getting ready to go ahead and have a radio station local in Vancouver, as well as you're going to be on an online radio station. Yeah, I told y'all all that. But you understand how that started? Because I took my eyes off myself. And God told me to go ahead and get back in the marketplace and minister. And when I started doing that, doors started opening. I started meeting more people than you'd ever believe. Doctors, lawyers, politicians, people who got power in the community. You know why? Because when you take your eyes off yourself and start looking at what you can do for the next man, is the day you're going to go from success to significance. The day you're going to go from being 100,000 millionaire to a millionaire to a billionaire. I'm HD Rhodes. I'm out. God bless.